talk about trust then, because it's not something that you do and then you're done doing it. It's like if you build a house, there's a point at which the house is done, or a car or anything else. But with trust, it's never done. It's always ongoing. There's an old saying that it takes years to build trust. It takes seconds for it to break and forever to repair. If you do all kinds of good things to build trust, but then you do one thing that damages that trust, it takes forever to get it back. There's things you can do to build trust with a person, and the first one is just always be honest and tell the truth with everything. There's a German philosopher, Nietzsche, that said, "I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you." And that's the thing, is once you aren't honest with the person, they'll always question you from that point on. So even if there's something you don't know, it's really okay to tell a person, "I don't know the answer to that question. I'll try to help you find out the answer. I'll send you to another doctor who will know the answer," whatever. But it's okay to say, "I don't know." And if you make a mistake, to admit that you made a mistake and just tell them. They trust you more. You may not be happy with yourself, but again, there's another saying: it's better to trust the person who's frequently in error than the one who is never in doubt. The person who always thinks they're right, you have to wonder if you can trust them. So, I mean, be honest is the first thing, and tell the truth, and avoid or admit that you make mistakes sometimes. And then another one is always be reliable. When you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And if you're supposed to do something, you have to do it. You can't just say, "I'll do it," and then not do it. And when you have things on your mind, to explain to the person, "Here's what I'm thinking." Actually be very transparent with them, because when you're reliable to them, they trust you. And then the other thing is to actually show them that you trust them. Again, there's a saying: "He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." If you don't trust other people, nobody's going to trust you. And so you have to show trust. How do you do that? Well, you include the patient in your discussion. You don't just talk at them. You don't just talk down to them. You don't treat them like a child. You actually bring them into the conversation and get them involved in that communication that we talked about before. And you show them respect at all times. You don't make faces or laugh or something when they say something that you think is ridiculous. That will lose them immediately. And you validate things. If they feel a certain way, you tell them, "I understand. I can imagine how it would be to feel like you're feeling," or that sort of thing. You actually make sure that you know that what their concerns are valid concerns. And I think those are some ways to get that trusting relationship. But again, it's not something you do and then you just, "Okay, I'm done. I'm finished the job." No, it has to be ongoing, like for the rest of your relationship.
We do have a request from an audience that Dr. Abduj maybe talk a little slower.
Okay.
It's okay. Yes.
Good.
It's okay. Anybody have any feedback, feel free to let us know, and we will try to adjust and so that you can get the best experience from the workshop. Okay.
And thank you for that request.
One very easy thing that as doctor we can do when we see that the patient is upset, when we see that the patient is withdrawing, they're not talking to us, is to say it and ask them directly. You can say, "Oh, you seem unhappy. Like, is there anything you would like to share with me?" Or, "You seem upset. Is there anything that I can do for you?" So the first part is to verbalize what you see, your observation. And then the second part is to invite them to express themselves and to share. I think that's one very simple thing that we can do, and it can make a big difference. Do you have any thoughts, Dr. Abduj?
Yeah, the conversation now, sort of reminded me of something of over the years. We all have a picture in our mind of what it should look like to be a doctor. Some people are very professional and, do everything by the book and be very careful with not getting too close to the patient, that sort of thing. And other people seem to be wanting to be more close to the patient and be more of a friend and that sort of a thing. I think that one thing that I learned over the years is that when I took on that more professional, distant look, I learned less from them than if I talked to them like I'm their friend. And so I would encourage people to try different ways of relating to people. But in the end, you have to do it the way that you're comfortable doing it. But the comments about putting yourself in the patient's position, I think is exactly right. But sometimes it's hard to do that. But if I talk to a person as a doctor, is it the same as the way that I talk to my friends or to my children or to my sister or to my wife? I mean, you talk to people differently when you put yourself in different roles. And I think that sometimes when we put ourselves in a role of this professional doctor, sometimes we actually alienate patients. I think sometimes it's good to pretend you're their friend and not pretend you're their doctor.